Huddle Up Podcast is sponsored by Arena Eats. Log on to the website arenaeats.app, that's arenaeats.app, for the ultimate fan experience. At your favorite sports venue, Arena Eats mobile app, pre-order, express pickup, and in-seat delivery. How do you place your order? Now let's turn the page to the National Hockey League. The season begins tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
With your Flyers. 5:30 Eastern time tomorrow. The Flyers and the Pittsburgh Penguins kicking off the season.
Right. Puts bedtime right in the middle of the second period.
That's one of those where we like scream into the pillow, right? If anything good or bad happens. But let's take a look at the National Hockey League. We're going to run down our predictions for season winners. We'll look at the playoff format. We'll predict our final four.
I got my gritty plush. I don't have my gritty plush with me.
Somewhere I have like a Capitals. I have a Capitals
Gritty's with
one.
me in spirit. He's here.
Gritty's with all of us. He's either with us in spirit or he's haunting us. It's one of the two. It just all depends how you feel.
Depends whose side you're on.
About Gritty. Yeah, starting tomorrow, 116 days straight with at least one hockey game. So
that's glorious.
Settle in now. Obviously, you know we'll talk about where the NBA's at. Hopefully, the NHL can do a little bit better job at keeping the pandemic in check. The Dallas Stars, the first COVID report of the season released, there was 27 positive tests across the National Hockey League. 17 of those with the Dallas Stars. So they need to. Teams need to rein it in early, especially down there in Texas. But let's start, Sean, in the Scotia North Division. Again, divisions are named this season, sponsorships, and you'll see on the helmets this year will be sponsorships. North. But the Scotia North Division, these are all the Canadian teams. You got Calgary, Edmonton, Montreal, Ottawa, Toronto, Vancouver, and Winnipeg. Calgary going back to their throwback, the old red, yellow, and whites this year. Ottawa, a bit of a new logo, new uniforms, a throwback to the 90s as well. So this one's really hard. Like all the divisions are scrambled up, but
I feel like the North has the potential to be the most interesting.
Absolutely.
Typically, the East for me is interesting, but that's primarily because the team I love and the teams I hate are there, and I feel that they're all fairly evenly matched, and it's a very, kind of rough and tumble, push them around style of hockey, which I love, which is very interesting. But with the North, when you have like the Western Canadian teams and the Eastern Canadian teams all in one kind of hybrid division, and knowing that only one of them will be in the Stanley Final. The Stanley Cup final, I think that's very
the final
very interesting.
The final four,
right? Would be in your final, the semifinal, Stanley final, yes. But I think it's very interesting because I think there's a lot of Cup quality teams in that division.
Yeah, I think so too. And I'm gonna lean on a team here that has definitely been building over the last couple of years, and they have a lot of raw talent, but also you bring in what I think was probably the piece that was missing most to the Vancouver Canucks from the last couple of years to now. You bring in a Stanley Cup winning goaltender, Braden Holtby, which is still so weird to not see Braden Holtby in Washington, but he is with Vancouver now. I actually like the Vancouver Canucks to win this North Division. Now, spoiler alert, I don't have them in my final four, but I think they're going to do enough in this division to actually come out on top of the Scotia North Division.
Oh, you're just taking your one. You didn't take your four. I'll give. I'll
just go division winners as opposed to actually picking the four.
I had my final four picked. I got Vancouver right in there. Along with my, I see. Let's see what Tanner had here: North Division, Edmonton, Vancouver, Toronto, Calgary. matches my Final Four. Now, I had Calgary as a 4 with a / Montreal next to it. I could easily see Montreal finding their way into this Final Four, but I'm with you. I think all 4 of those teams are real good. I wish I could. I always get so high on Edmonton. Maybe it's because I grew up watching Wayne Gretzky and the boys on the bus, and having Connor McDavid up there, just kind of hoping that they pull something together. But man, to pick one to win just the regular division, I'll take. Since you took Vancouver, I'll take Toronto. I feel like I like Toronto to be extremely strong. You might hear their name again in a few minutes, but I'll take Toronto to win the North, just to be different than you. But Vancouver was going to be my pick to win the North.
All right, so yeah, you had said Toronto to win. You said. I'm just gonna mark that. I'm just running through. I think Calgary, Edmonton, Toronto are my other teams to make it. He says Tanner here says Edmonton has the same problem Toronto does, missing a solid defense and a straight number 1 goaltender. So then we move to the Honda West Division. The Anaheim Ducks, Arizona Coyotes, Colorado Avalanche, Los Angeles Kings, Minnesota Wild, San Jose Sharks, St. Louis Blues, and the Las Vegas Golden Knights. So I have I think St. Louis is going to win the division. They lost a few pieces. They added Krug from the Bruins in the offseason, but I think there's a lot of guys. I think they were disappointed in themselves last year coming off the Stanley Cup victory. Obviously a strange broken up season, and then you moved into the bubble. Kind of hard to get that momentum back. I like St. Louis to get back on track, find themselves again this year. My other teams making the playoff making the playoffs out of this West Division. I like the Vegas Golden Knights. Again, it's a team that in their entire existence, they've never missed the playoffs. I don't think this year they will either. Colorado Avalanche, a team that just is absolutely, I feel like, primed to have a potential run here. And then I guess Anaheim, I feel like the rest of these teams are just kind of muddled in this land of trying to find who they are. But I'll take the Ducks because they have one of the neater reverse retro uniforms.
They do. They really do. I will tell you that I agree with you on your 3 of your 4. I have 3 of the 4 the same. The team I'm picking to win is not the team I have in my Final Four from this. I'm going to take the Vegas Golden Knights.
Okay.
Only because I never bet against Vegas. Never bet against the house kids. But I have the exact same as Tanner again. Looks like Tanner and I are on the same page. I have Colorado, Vegas, St. Louis, so I'm there with you. And my kind of sneak-in surprise team is going to be Minnesota. I take Minnesota.
Well, they got those North Star feel.
Theirs are also real dope. Those North Stars ones, I really dig that as well. But yeah, that's my 4 with Vegas on top.
All right, then we move to the Discover Central Division, the Carolina Hurricanes, Chicago Blackhawks, Columbus Blue Jackets, Dallas Stars, Detroit Red Wings, Florida Panthers, Nashville Predators, Tampa Bay Lightning. Of course, your defending Stanley Cup champion. This one I feel like is like the most mishmashed because you have a good mix of traditional Western Conference teams, Eastern Conference teams.
Like throwing
you're spread out
with each other.
You're spread out to Dallas. You're spread up to Chicago. And then you got like the Nashville, Florida. You got Detroit. So you got the Detroit and Chicago.
Very hard to predict.
You got Detroit and Chicago. That rivalry back for 1 year within the same division. I have the Tampa Bay Lightning winning the division, coming off the Stanley Cup victory. I don't think they lost a lot of pieces. This is a team that year after year after year we always talk about that. They were always on the cusp, and they just never got over it. Now they finally got over it. I think they're going to continue to roll. I also like Nashville to get into the playoffs. They were a team that I thought had some potential in the bubble. They didn't meet it. They were hot the second half of last year. Dallas, who, of course, went to the Stanley Cup final. And then a team that surprised people late in the season as they were still playing. And then once you got into the bubble, the Chicago Blackhawks. I like the Blackhawks, this new youth movement that they kind of have going. So those are my 4 playoff teams out of the Discover Central Division.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a very interesting division. I'm not sure what it's. I think I'm afraid I was like having trouble picking this because I don't know what the breed of hockey is going to look like, I just I don't know. I don't know what to expect. Now I did have. I do also have Dallas in there, and I have Tampa Bay, of course, in there. I'm right with you. I think Tampa Bay is going to win the division. I feel like. They're real hot. And, of course, like I've been kind of following, it's been very easy to follow their offseason for me. And there was a point where they thought they were going to lose anywhere up to like 8 starter-ish players, 8 very crucial players. I think they really only lost like 2 pieces that played what you would call like starter or 2-man minutes. And, of course, they still have arguably the best goaltender on the planet from day to day. So pretty hard to bet against them. So I'm going to take them to win the division. I also had Dallas in there, despite the COVID cases. I think everything will work out fine. Then we start to differ. I had another member of the youth movement in there. I have Carolina. It actually looks like I'm with Tanner again. I have Tampa Bay, Dallas, Carolina. He has as his 4, but I didn't really number mine beyond 1. But I got them in there, and I was going to take. I had a slash. And ironically, it's you and Tanner. I had Nashville/Columbus. I'll ride with Tanner. Tanner and I are on the same bobsled going down the same horrifying hill of ice. I'm running with Tanner, probably right up until the East.
Get Rod Brindamore out of my life.
But I liked everything I saw. Another team very similar to what you said about Chicago, a team that like young team, outperform themselves, gets to the bubble, plays real well. I thought they did an awesome job. They impressed me, and there's a ton of youth on that team, and I like their spirit. But Tanner
is a little scary. You guys are.
Yeah, Tanner, for your protection, I did not put money on my picks, but the fact that yours are with mine, I hope you did not put any money on your picks either. It could be a very scary thing for you. If you did, I'll go.
All right, and then Sean, we move to the Mass Mutual East Division, the one that obviously you and I both keyed in on more than any other. You got the Boston Bruins, Buffalo Sabres, New Jersey Devils, New York Islanders, New York Rangers, Philadelphia Flyers, Pittsburgh Penguins, and the Washington Capitals. This feels like a classic old school division. This just feels right when we're talking hockey in the Northeast.
If I can find it on Vegas, I'm going to throw $5 on this division having the most penalty minutes of any division.
Certainly could. So I almost feel bad for the Buffalo Sabres. I really almost feel bad for them. They're just going to get.
Almost. I don't even care if they're in this division or not. I just feel bad for the Buffalo Sabres.
I'm happy that the Capitals start their season in Buffalo for 2 games. I feel like that's a good way to start the Peter Laviolette era in Washington. You start up there in Buffalo. So I actually I have the Boston Bruins. As much as I absolutely hate it, I have them winning this division. They're year to year. I mean, you lose Chara, you lose Krug, but you've added a couple of pieces. But I think you still have a good core there from what they've done year in, year out. And then my other 3 playoff teams, of course, my Washington Capitals, especially with Peter Laviolette. I think that guy's going to have this team reset, refocused, and clipping. Hopefully, Ovechkin can get as hot scoring goals as he was last season. Unfortunately, I really do think that a half season last year, a half season this year. The odds of breaking Wayne's record are dwindling at this point. And then my other 2 playoff teams are the Philadelphia Flyers. I think that team is really set up for success. And then I think the New York Rangers, man, like they were a team going into the bubble last year that I thought was really starting to click. Now you are losing a huge leader in the locker room, Henrik Lundqvist. Now, of course, we wish him the very best. Was supposed to play in Washington this year, had the heart situation, had open heart surgery, successful open heart surgery. So his playing career certainly in doubt, but we are glad that the surgery was a success. So you lose that, but this Rangers team, man, they just really, really surprised me, especially in the second half of last season and even into the bubble a little bit. So those are my 4 teams in your Mass Mutual East Division. Huddle Up Podcast is sponsored by Arena Eats. Log on to the website arenaeats.app, that's arenaeats.app, for the ultimate fan experience. At your favorite sports venue, Arena Eats mobile app, pre-order, express pickup, and in-seat delivery. How do you place your order?
Yeah, we're not that far off for a team like Tanner said. A lot of parity in this division, making it the hardest to pick, and I think he's right. I mean, obviously, I was going to have my Flyers in there. Beyond that, it was kind of a tough pick. I had a lot of slashes, a lot of slashes. I had to take teams out. I don't know that I like it, but it's real hard to pick against my own team. I feel like the Flyers are kind of more of the team to not get the division win and kind of get in on the top 4 and get hot late. But I'm going to ride on my boy Connor Hart. I'm going to ride on my boys Claude Giroux. And we're gonna get hot on them. I'll take them to win the division. Why not? Because with the parity, it's the beginning of the season. If I'm wrong, I'll just say I was drinking or something like I did on that other pick earlier. But I'm going to take Philadelphia. I, too, have Boston. That's probably the team if I was going to pick. Tyler, you're not going to believe this. Tanner, Tyler, Tiger, Tanner, DJ Tanner. Philadelphia, Boston. I have New York, not the Rangers. I have the New York Islanders. I liked everything I saw. I don't think it was a one-trick pony this year. I feel like strength in net, strength in front of the net, and a real young, fast team. My only fear for the Islanders would be that they're almost too fast and young, that they play too – I don't want to say too West Coast. I don't like to be like the East Coast was, but there are divisions where that speed game is kind of more the deal, and I think in that North you're going to see a lot of it. But I think they may get kind of lost in a hard-hitting division here, but they played in it before. It's nothing new to them, and they do have some big fellas and some bruisers on the team. So, why not? And James, your Washington Capitals, I have in a slash here on my 4th team. I got the Washington Capitals / the Pittsburgh Penguins. And you know what I'm going to do with that western half of the state. I'm going to kick them to the curb. I'm going to take your Washington Capitals to be the 4th team in the playoffs.
Good. I had this teed up for you. I had this teed up for you.
Hey, fuck you, buddy.
yeah, suck it, Sydney. We'll see you. But we're gonna push Pittsburgh out. I'm not sure with the way the divisions shake up and the 4 coming out. Unfortunately, there's going to be some typical playoff teams either way. Whether I'm right or wrong, you're going to see some teams that a lot of times just kind of the way that East is normally seeded. You're just not going to see them because they're going to get lost in the shuffle.
Yeah, because normally it's 3 from a division and then 2 wild cards. So like, if the I think what we've seen over the last couple of years is like the Atlantic, which Boston, Tampa Bay have been among the elites. But then there's a lot more, New Jersey and Buffalo and teams like that have not been very good. So you have your 3 teams and that's it. So I feel like the Caps division and the Flyers and the Penguins, they're the one that puts 5 teams in. So now one of those typical teams is going to fall out. And like the Devils have gotten better. And the Islanders are very good.
I think that's one team, if you're going to go in, and I could have done it for every division, but it's just one that just sticks out for me as like a potential destroy your bracket, like a team no one's picking, and a team that I think has made a lot of improvements and has a chance to maybe make a push into this 4. And maybe I'm not going to say they're going to shoot out into the Final 4, but I wouldn't be surprised if they got hot and did. They have a lot of youth. They got a lot of they made a lot of moves that I liked, and I think New Jersey. And as a Flyers fan, that's a horrifying thing. Because if there's one team that no matter how bad they get seems to really chap my ass every year. It's the New Jersey Devils, and I think they're a scarier team than people are going to give them credit for, and they might catch some teams by surprise early.
All right, Sean. Tanner here says Barry Trotz, such a good head coach, to not let the Islanders harness the same energy they brought into the bubble. Yeah, I mean, obviously, he's my Doug Peterson. To you, that he's a guy that brought the Caps. They were only Stanley Cup, and the Caps made a decision, and 2 years later, the Caps have another new head coach. So, the Todd Reirden experiment did not go very well for Washington. And I mean, they got Laviolette, which is a guy who's had obvious success, and I think he's going to get that team focus here. Tanner also adds Buffalo about 3 drafts away from really competing for a cup if they stay the course.
3 drafts away is a scary place to be.
I mean,
3 drafts away, and then they were 3 more drafts away. You make the wrong pick at the top of a draft, and it just seems to just cripple you. I don't know what it is, but these teams that this is the guy, Alexander Degg, that's the guy, and then it just isn't, and you're just I don't know. I guess if you draft poorly at the top of the first round, you kind of draft poorly at the top of every other round, but still. It just kind of didn't work out, and then you finally get your Buffalo needs to find that marquee player. They need the guy to sell the jerseys, to score the goal, whether it's that or just find a solid goaltender to build around. But until they find one of those 2 pieces, I think they're in trouble.
Yeah, it is what it is. All right, so Sean, let's look ahead, to June or July when the Stanley Cup playoffs get underway. As
usual, summertime hockey finals.
So the format this year, the first 2 rounds are your divisional rounds. So, like we said, 4 teams from each division get into the Stanley Cup playoffs. 1 seed versus 4 seed, 2 seed versus 3 seed. The winners play each other. Then the 3rd round of the Stanley Cup playoffs, the semifinal round, is each of the divisional rounds winners play each other, and they are reseeded based on regular season standing. So the team with the most regular season points will play the team with the least.
Right. It will be your final 4 will be winner from the North, winner from the West, winner from the Central, winner from the East.
And reseeded based on regular season. Yes.
Based on regular season.
Regular season points. So the team with the highest points plays the lowest, and then the 2 in the middle. And then, of course, the winners of those will play in the Stanley Cup final. And all series are best of 7. So my final 4, I think Boston is going to be the best team in the regular season. I just feel like they just feel the most complete. So I have Boston coming through as through the playoffs, the highest seed remaining. They're my number 1. I actually have the Calgary Flames as my team out at winning the North, and they are going to be my 4 seed because I feel like I think that North, because they're also going to have the most travel too, with teams going west to east. So I think that's going to weigh on them a little bit. So I like Calgary to be my 4 seed. Then my 2 seed is your defending champion, Tampa Bay Lightning, coming out of the Central Division. Again, I think they just have that. They have that thing. They're just going to keep it rolling. And then the Vegas Golden Knights. It's hard to bet against this team. Went to the finals.
Never bet against the house.
Went to the finals their first year. They've still had success. They've been able to maintain it. I like them to go to the Final 4. My Stanley Cup playoffs, or my Stanley Cup finals, I have Boston beating Calgary. I have Vegas beating Tampa Bay, and I think I even made this prediction a year ago. It didn't pan out. I think I made it in the bubble. It didn't pan out, but I'm going to go with it anyway. Don't bet against the house. I have the Vegas Golden Knights as your 2021 Stanley Cup champions over the Boston Bruins in 6 games, especially, and I hope they wear them a lot this year. First off, their reverse retros look great, but they added a gold 3rd jersey this year that is It is fantastic. It is the perfect. That should be their home uniform. Get like the gray is cool.
Scrap
but like the gray
go
should
gold.
become the ultimate. The alternate. The gold.
Nothing says Vegas like gold.
Exactly. It is gaudy. It is shiny. Like the fabric is even. It's like it has like a sheen to it almost. It's perfect. Give me Vegas in 6 games over the Boston Bruins.
It's like Wayne Newton and Elvis Presley had a kid, and it was just pressed into nylon and then made into a shirt.
It's wonderful. It is.
By the way, my analogy literally just pressed a human being into nylon.
It does. It did. But yeah,
it's a person that doesn't exist. So
right.
It's fine. All right. I think we went very different ways, and I actually, since making this list earlier today, officially, I've actually changed a few of my picks at this point based on who I wound up having win the division. But we're going to go for it anyway. I think you're. I'm curious. I'm going to read what Tanner has compared to mine. Tampa Bay, Colorado, Vancouver, and Philadelphia. Wait. Yeah. Okay. Well, we're very close, Tanner. We're very close indeed. I had originally had Toronto coming out of the North. I've actually switched that. Having Toronto win in the regular, I feel like makes more sense. We've kind of shifted. And the fact that I had originally had Vancouver winning the regular season version of the North, I think is the same reason I have them now coming out of the playoffs. So I'm going to take Vancouver right with Tanner. Colorado, I had Colorado in the finals last year, and I'm going to have Colorado in the finals this year. I think it's going to be another. I think the bubble was all set up to see that Vegas-Colorado matchup, and you wound up with a very heartbreaking story out of Colorado with a goaltender injury that's just it was grotesque, and they're going to want to come back and prove themselves, and I think they're going to. I think it's one of the best teams in hockey, and they're going to show it. I actually have Colorado as my 1 seed coming into the 4. Colorado's my 1, and coming out of there, Vancouver's going well. I'll do my seeds in a minute. I have out of the Central. I originally had Dallas coming out, but I just keep, and maybe it's the radio talking in my ear all the time, but I'm with you. I don't see any reason why Tampa Bay is not going to come out of here. So I'm going to take Tampa Bay too. I had Dallas circled, but I had a big question mark next to it. And then I think I had a smaller question mark next to the big question mark, which was probably like, what the heck are you doing? I'm going to take Tampa out of there. And I also have Philadelphia. I have Philadelphia right there coming out as well. So, yeah, we might even be spot on. Tampa, Colorado, Vancouver, Philadelphia. Yes, we are exactly on, Tanner. I don't know how you did this to yourself, but you're just running yourself into the ground. Don't put
money on these picks.
So here's my seeds. Colorado 1 will be playing Vancouver 4, and Philadelphia 2 will be playing Tampa Bay 3. That's my predictions.
Okay. Who do you have?
I have Philadelphia beating Tampa Bay because it's just the way it was set up. I don't get to watch them play Tampa Bay in the fun. My dream world would be my Flyers against the Tampa Bay Lightning in the Stanley Cup Final.
Which could happen. Really could happen.
I don't know what these seedings.
But and that's what the wild thing is. Like you could have
No, the Wild play in Minnesota, James.
Oh well, that's true. You could have Boston playing Toronto in the Cup Final. Like to me, like that's something the NHL wants. Like if the NHL, like if the big brass is sitting back, like they want.
Or you could have something terrible like Carolina Buffalo.
You could. That would really be awful. But like if you're the NHL, you actually have the opportunity to have the Rangers play and again it's a little far fetched I think, but you could have the Rangers playing the Maple Leafs, the Rangers playing Montreal.
Canadians.
Like you could have 2 Eastern Conference original 6 matchups, against each other. I mean, you could still get Chicago or Toronto, but you could get one of those that you don't normally have the opportunity.
So I have Philly over Tampa. I have Colorado over Vancouver.
Okay.
Which sets up a Colorado-Philadelphia final. And my man Carter Hart going to turn to stone in the finals. Philly over Colorado in 5 games. 5. Flyers are going to be red hot by the time they hit the finals. Because if the Philadelphia Eagles had as many injuries as they had, the Flyers are going to have 0. It says, I got faith. You knew I was going to pick the Flyers.
Well, I know. I should have just been like Philly over blank in blank
the worst part for me is this is like probably I'm not going to say I'm overconfident because, could I see the Flyers getting close and not? Absolutely. But I think this, I think they were hot going into last year. I think I was more.
Oh, they have the team to do it. I won't deny that.
I was more confident in my pick in the bubble last year of the Flyers than I am of a 50 game out picking the Flyers. But this feels like the right team. It feels like the right goalie. We'll just have to wait and see. Obviously, teams that get there make moves midseason, and I think the Flyers are kind of poised to do that as well. They have a lot of talent that they're going to in the next few years find a hard time piecing all of it into one roster, and I think there's a chance they move some of it to get pieces that they need. So they're poised to do all that, and you're Stanley Cup champion.
Huddle Up Podcast is sponsored by Arena Eats. Log on to the website arenaeats.app, that's arenaeats.app, for the ultimate fan experience. At your favorite sports venue, Arena Eats mobile app, pre-order, express pickup, and in-seat delivery. How do you place your order?